Hey guys, this week's podcast features Matt and Corey from Big Ditch Brewing. Matt and Corey came down, talked about starting a brewery in Buffalo, how they got into home brewing, and Buffalo's up-and-coming brewery scene. Let's get to it.
Thank you guys so much for coming down here. Kind of a really busy week. Buffalo Beer Week is kind of like... I'm assuming that there's a lot going on with you guys.
There is a lot going on, yes.
Pretty much every day.
True. Yeah.
So we really appreciate you having us down here as well.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah,
no
thanks.
problem. Just so people get used to the voices, can you just introduce yourself and what you do with the particular brewery at Big Ditch? Or
Yeah, my name is Matt Kahn. Really, me and my partner Corey here, we both run Big Ditch.
Okay.
I mean, we're both...
I didn't know if there was like segregated duties or things like that.
Well, why don't you go first, and then
so I'm Corey Catalano. I will be the head brewer.
Okay.
At Big Ditch Brewing.
And
Nice.
I'll probably be the, I guess, assistant brewer,
Brewer.
but probably jack of all trades as well. So
Okay, yeah.
be managing, I guess, some of the financials and operations of the business.
Okay.
How's that sound?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So it's just gonna be the two. Is it pretty much just the two of you guys right
There's
now?
also a third member,
Okay.
Wes Frobel, who couldn't be here today, but he's going to be doing some more of the sales and marketing portion
nice.
of the business. Yep.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's cool. I saw that you guys were at Larkin yesterday. Am I correct? Or
That's correct.
Yeah.
How was that? Like, is there a buzz in the public, like already getting to know the name and things like that, or?
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. I think it's one of the things that, has been just positive reinforcing for everything that we've done.
Yeah,
has been, for most people that don't actually have a business actually open where they could actually sell anything.
Yeah, it's
You
a
wouldn't think
weird world that you guys...
People get really excited. They want to talk about it, and it was really cool to be down at Larkinville there.
Yeah.
Because I had yet to go down there, and
it's when you go there, it's
beautiful.
yeah.
And
You're driving to it, and you're like, "There's no way there's gonna be something that nice in this area." And then like you turn a corner, and it's just like
There
this
it is.
right,
huge thing.
right. So it kind of like epitomizes what the city is going towards, and I think what we're trying to contribute to is. Local and just great things to be excited about.
Yeah,
and you could tell the buzz is there when you're down in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it changes.
So.
And
you
people
can see the changes
investing
coming.
into downtown especially too.
Yep.
Yeah. And so what were you guys doing there? Were you kind of just talking about the
Right.
upcoming brewery, or
Right, we've got a little show, I guess, that we do for right now. But
because you can't technically give anyone.
I know. Well, that's the first part of the show is the utter disappointment that people experience when we actually
Just starting off apologizing.
Where exactly? Like
Sorry, we have no beer.
Right, it should be a big sign. We have no beer. But actually, people are usually not that mad, which surprises me, to be honest with you. But we've got merchandise, so we've got T-shirts for sale.
Oh, nice.
We've got a mailing list that we do. So we've had a lot of people sign up. I think we've had like 500 sign-ups already.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
And just to throw that out there, you can go to our webpage, bigditchbrewing.com, and if you want to follow our progress, we do a monthly newsletter.
Nice.
And you could sign up right to the right side of the page there.
Awesome.
And you can be on our mailing list.
Yep. So people usually, they just say, so when are you going to open and where are you going to be? And we spend a little time explaining that. And then usually the other question is, what kind of beers will you have, which some of which we brought today.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yep.
You're one of the few.
I'm very excited about
yes.
that. So I guess let's do a little backstory. Like, how long have each of you been into the craft beer world, even just as connoisseurs?
Right. Well, I mean, I would guess that my personal experience is probably similar to most others, where it's not really like a jump, but it's sort of a slow, climb, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think back, and it's funny, as we got into this, I had to think more and more about how did I get to this point, But like even back in college, being able to try some different things that different from the Bud Miller Coors or whatever. So even back then, like I really liked drinking Honey Brown, which I thought at the time was awesome, And then even stepping from there, like I remember I was 21 still, sitting down at the Steer and having a Guinness. And my buddy, who was like 26 at the time, is like, "Here's what real beer tastes like," And I'm like, okay, and I was like, oh, that's kind of an eye-opening moment.
Yeah,
and even from there, then I lived in Ithaca and like getting the Saranac 6-packs they used to have, and then Ithaca was just sort of starting out when I moved there.
Oh, okay.
So they had like Pale Ale and Nut Brown and stuff.
Nice.
And then from there, Sierra and Brooklyn, and so it's just been a progression.
Nice.
So I don't exactly know where
there wasn't like a aha moment.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, okay, I drank Firestone Double Barrel and now I'm the craft. It's just there's been a slow progression.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Similar story with me. It took me a long time to remember, but I remember where I had my first craft beer, and that was actually at Off the Wall on
nice.
Elmwood Avenue. That was right next to what used to be the Elmwood Lounge.
Yeah.
And the owner there. I was friendly with him, and he was carrying Anchor Steam and a lot of the Southern Tier stuff. So I asked what kind of beer he had. He's like, try this. You're going to love it. And I did, and my mind was kind of blown because I didn't understand what was happening. Like, there was all sorts of flavor going on, and it was darker in color. I was like, what is this? So, and then from there, I tried Finn and Matt's, which was my first local, I guess, craft. And from there, just I kept experimenting. So it's kind of our nature as a background in science to just try new things, see how it goes.
Nice. Have you guys gotten down the rabbit hole pretty far? Like, are you both pretty diehard beer connoisseurs now? Like, do you take trips to breweries and things like that?
I wish I could do more, to be honest with you. I if I had the time, which right now we don't, I certainly would.
Yeah.
I could say that, like, if I'm going to go somewhere to eat, or even for small trips, like, it's going to be somewhat beer oriented, there's got to be some sort of a selection there.
That's understandable.
And in terms of travel, no matter where I go, I'm looking for, what's the beer bar? What's the local brewery that we can go check out?
Nice.
So it doesn't need to be like a pilgrimage to some amazing place, which would be nice.
Can't wait for that day.
You can, right, exactly.
Go to Belgium.
We're already planning
European
the Belgian
tour.
bender, right? At some point.
Man,
but
that'd be amazing.
Right. But you could still find good craft beer.
Yeah.
Just about everywhere right now.
Yeah.
So
for now, I basically just live vicariously through Mike Schatzel's check-ins on Facebook.
Exactly. How did he get that? That's what I'm.
Where is he now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I should go there. So that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah. How did you guys connect? And
we both work together.
Oh, okay.
And just
sat across from each other, basically in our cubicles, like most people do, and talk about beer or football and
standard stuff.
Yes.
This kind of just grew out of chatting.
Cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Yep.
When did you guys start messing around with home brewing and that kind of stuff?
That's a pretty good story. So I've always had more of like a technical aptitude. So I saw a raw material bucket. And
okay,
yeah, it was just a bucket full of like salt or something, I don't know, but it had a gasket in it, and I was like, this is a nice bucket.
Most people just say it's a bucket, but
most people are like, oh, there's a bucket.
Yeah,
right.
We throw them away by the hundreds a day. I'm like, this is a really nice bucket. I can make this a fermenter. So I'm bringing garbage to my desk essentially, and Matt's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm like, I want to make a fermenter out of this,
Yeah.
And that kind of sat with him, I think, overnight, and then that's when we really started talking about it.
But I actually told him, I think that day, I was like, I've made beer before, which I had. Like, I lived in Boston in like 2005, and I got one of the Mr. Beer
I've been there.
kits. My wife got that for me. So I tried making beer with that, and it was awful.
Yeah.
And I tried again, and it was still awful. And I was like, and at the time I'm in Boston, and I'm like, I can walk a block down the street.
Yeah.
And pick 500 different beers. I'm not going to waste my time with this. So I told him, I was like, you don't really want to make beer.
Just go to the store and buy it.
Just go to the store and buy it.
It's much easier.
But then over that night, thinking about it and thinking about, there's craft beer's growing. And Buffalo needs more breweries.
How long ago was this? The start of this genesis?
Maybe almost 3 years now.
It's like 2.5, 2.5, 3 years.
Okay.
2.5, 3 years.
It feels like yesterday. Time just, every day is gone before you know it. So.
Yeah.
But, at that time, we hadn't been homebrewers yet.
But we knew we had the background to be good at it. So we thought.
Yeah, so we decided before we knew how to make beer that we wanted to open a brewery, which might be sort of atypical and maybe, not the smartest thing.
Yeah,
ambitious.
That's what sets us.
Yeah.
That's what sets us. Not sets us aside, but I think differentiates us from most people that decide to open breweries.
Yeah, I'd say.
But
for sure.
but that's again studying brewing and beer and how to make it.
Yeah.
Appeal to our, I think, scientific sort of nature. It's pretty fascinating. It pertains a lot to what we do actually in our some of what we do now.
Yeah.
Every day.
You can't really just throw something and then just come back to it
Right.
Yeah,
you really have to monitor and know what's going
it's
on.
The perfect.
Sure.
It's really the perfect mix of science and art.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
that's true. And there's still a lot of sort of things that are unexplained. I don't know how much in the field of beer research or brewing research there is, but there are universities.
Oh yeah.
And degrees associated to this. So.
Especially out in Europe and in Germany, I know they have a lot of programs like that.
There's a good one up in Canada. There's one out in California.
So I think even from that early thoughts and then sort of studying it, I think it appealed to us not just because it's beer, but it was actually fascinating.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
How long after that initial cooking period before you're like, we could maybe do a brewery? Like that thought we're like, we could maybe do this.
Well, for me, it was always very linear, the path to open a brewery. It really is. So what we did was we basically just messed around as much as we can for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then so we made, maybe 50 gallons of beer. And we just threw a huge party. And it, we tried to keep it objective, although admittedly it probably wasn't as objective as it could have been.
It was all families and friends.
Yeah, but it was sort of
trying to get the real response, but everyone's this is the best thing I've ever had.
Yeah, here's free beer. Tell me if you like it. It's like, of course I like it. I don't need to drink it, But we, so we did that, and the feedback was good. We thought it was good.
Yeah.
As objective as it could have been, the feedback was mostly good. And then we sort of said, well, let's write a business plan, and we spent a long time on that. And during that time, we'd bring the beer even to different bar owners, restaurant owners, just trying to say, hey, what do you think of this idea? Do you got room for another, local brewery on tap?
Yeah.
And the overwhelming response was, definitely, and then people like the beer, so we kept at it. And that took another pretty long time to do that. There's nothing.
It's like a
quick and easy,
slow evolution,
right?
The whole process.
So that's how it's gone.
Was there a point where you tried one of the beers you made and was like, this actually tastes like a beer, like that you were impressed that you had something that you thought actually was in comparison to an actual beer you'd buy at a store? Was there ever that?
Yeah, the best is when you finally make one of your own and you first smell it and you're like, that's amazing, and then you taste it and you think that's better than most things you could buy on the shelf.
Yeah. And, I think we're our own worst critics too, which I think to be successful in this, and that's probably not even just in beer, but maybe in food or wine or anything, maybe sort of culinary. You got to be your own worst critic. If you think that everything you make is, the best ever.
Yeah.
So we do tend to, sort of criticize our own beers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've made beers that, we'd almost prefer to drink those than just about anything else we can get commercially. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yep.
You did bring some beer here. I figured maybe we could crack open into one of them.
Sure.
Are these beers that you kind of have planned will be part of your stable once you guys open, or?
Yeah, I think so.
We think so.
Yeah, they should be. Maybe they won't be exactly the same, but they'll be sort of similar in the same ballpark.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. Guess choice, whichever one you want to.
All right. Yeah, we'll start with
Golden Ale. I guess I'll talk about this while Corey is opening it up. So the first beer that Corey's going to open is, I guess we don't really have names for most of our beers yet. So it's a golden ale. A golden ale is really technically the style is an American blonde ale, which is a style that American brewers invented or sort of invented or came up with back in I think around the 90s, maybe you might say, is when it originated. Yeah. And it's sort of like an ale version of something that might be considered like a Pilsner or a light lager. Yeah. But it's using ale yeast, and it's a bit more flexibility in terms of what that beer can be, because Americans tend to do all sorts of things with the beers, and they tend to be a little more creative. So this beer is intended to be light, very drinkable. The ABV is 4.8% on this. Okay. But we wanted something that had a little bit of a...
You can move it. Don't worry about it.
I don't want to make a lot of noise.
I appreciate that.
We wanted to have a little bit of a hop flavor, little hop punch to it, but still be very, very drinkable. Oh yeah. So, we didn't use prototypical, let's say, American Northwest hops in this. We used some hops that sort of older American hops, right? Things like hops like Cluster Northern Brewer. They also added in some German Tettnang into this beer. Oh, nice. So I think it yields something that's, again, pretty hoppy, but also not overwhelming.
Yeah, no, I don't think at all. I think it's very drinkable.
Refreshing.
Oh, that's very good. Yep. I like that a lot, and it's like sweeter too, and
it's got a little malt backbone to it, so it's fairly well balanced, but a little bit towards the
very approachable.
This could be something that I think anybody could enjoy. Yeah, because I mean some hoppy beers, it's almost like a test. It's almost like it's like so extreme that it's like, I dare you to drink this. Like, that's how happy this is.
Yeah. I mean, this beer is not meant to destroy anyone's palates. No. Not to say we won't make a beer like that someday.
No.
I think
there's every demographic out there, but yeah.
The thought behind this, I think, is someone walks into a good beer bar in Buffalo, and there's many of them. Yeah. And says, "Hey, give me a few blues or Molsons or whatever." Yeah. And it's like, well, you know what? Here's something that's made locally, and it's got a lot more flavor, and we think you'll like it.
You'll probably like this.
Yeah. And that's what this beer's for.
If you can just convert one of those people,
the fringe.
I hope we can convert more than one.
Well, I guess that would feel good. At least the first
one would be okay. Two would be even better.
That's kind of my deal. Like, if I can just get one person not to eat at Olive Garden.
Right, yes. Then your job is done.
Yeah, then maybe I've done something good.
Yep.
I mean, listen to you talk about this. I mean, you guys have definitely, probably done a lot of research into brewing of beer. I mean, have you just like jumped headfirst into the internet and books and things like that, or I mean, how has that learning curve been?
Yeah, I remember we found the How to Brew by Palmer on the internet, and we read that over and over quite a few times. And I'm always more adventurous, and I started brewing before I finished reading it. Yeah. And I had to call Matt because I was like, "Did you get to this chapter yet? I'm not. I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing here." So, but as we've gone on and learned more and more, we've always bettered our practices, I guess.
Nice. So as you guys were coming along, the whole Community Beerworks thing must have been kind of on the rise at the same time.
Yeah, that's right.
Were they pretty open to helping you guys along with it, or?
Yeah, they were. They've been super incredibly helpful to us, and we really appreciate them for helping us and for everything that they've done. Oh yeah. In addition to the fact that, of course, they're making great beer, and we really like that. Yeah. But I think we met with Ethan. It was one of the very first meetings that we had. I think this is going back to like December of 2011, maybe, or something.
A couple of years back.
Yep. So, and this is again it was like right after we had this sort of friends and family tasting, and we brought them beer, and it wasn't as good as it is now, but they gave us some constructive feedback, and sort of we bounced some ideas off each other, and
that had to be somewhat nerve-wracking to have people like that try.
It was. I think I remember saying that to Ethan. Like, I don't think I've ever had anybody that knows as much about beer. Try anything we've made before.
They were like mini celebrities, to us.
Yeah. I mean, they're big names in the beer world. Yeah, especially now too.
Yep. That's true.
Yeah.
So So I mean, they've been helpful to us back then, and then along the process. I mean,
because I mean, they've basically gone through all the hurdles, licensing wise and all that, permits and things like that.
Yep.
So
exactly,
they helped us with some of like the. We were looking at a location. They helped us with some of the zoning issues.
Oh yeah.
They or just in discussions. They've helped us with raw materials, and they helped us with a number of things. So
that's awesome.
Very appreciative to them.
How how has that been, the whole process of actually going from the idea to? I mean, I think only a couple of weeks ago the location was just announced, correct? Or
yeah, I think we announced the location maybe in like late July.
It was so a couple months.
Yeah. So that's been pretty recent.
Yeah.
How has that process been? More difficult than you thought? Like
in terms of getting the location, you mean?
I guess kind of everything, like permits.
In terms of opening the brewery.
Yeah. Because to me, like it just sounds like so much work, like even just applying for things and it is.
Well, actually that was really when, like, let's say the full legalities of everything started to kick in. Was we needed a zoning variance to put our production brewery downtown. So downtown is where we're putting our brewery.
Yeah.
It's zoned for like arts and theater and restaurant, and
it's more,
I guess, obviously, business.
Yeah.
Not
retail.
for what we're doing is sort of more in the lines of like manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed to apply for variance, and then a few people picked up on that, and that's how the story got out. So, but we got the variance, so that was good.
Yeah.
And then again, like I said before, it's linear, so we needed to sign a lease to even apply for our brewing permit.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do that till we got the variance. So once we did that, we could apply for the federal permit. And actually, we just this past weekend got our federal permit to be a brewery. To be a brewery. So we got approval from the federal government. So now that's done. Now we have to go on to the state. So there's another whole thing that needs to happen. So it's going to go on like that for a while.
Yeah. It's not so much that it's difficult as it is. It takes longer than obviously we want it to.
Yeah.
If we could be open yesterday, we would. So
it's like we can actually now brew beer, but now we still can't sell it.
Exactly.
So,
oh, really?
Yeah, that's the thing. So
I guess you could just keep working.
The federal government,
is
ready to tax us. So.
Right, exactly. So
I mean, we just went to the Lockhouse Distillery, and we were talking to them about their process, and that seemed insane. But I think it maybe is a little bit not as insane for you guys, but it also seems like you have a pretty, like you said, like a linear path. Like, is there pretty much information out there that it's like, okay, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, or is that some trial and error?
Not exactly.
Where you get to a point and you're like,
it's
okay,
slightly
I need what
cryptic.
Now?
Yeah, I hope not. I hope we don't get old for them. Be like, oh, we forgot to do this. That takes a year. Oh, I mean, and I still, I think, wake up in the middle of the night wondering that question. I'm like, I hope I didn't forget to, whatever. But it's not like. There's not like the how to open a brewery. Well, actually, there is like start your own brewery books. Actually,
yeah, but nothing will take you through the New York State.
Yeah, New York State,
exactly.
City of Buffalo.
Every state has different requirements, and everybody's going to do it a little bit differently. In terms of the order and how they do things. So, but I guess it's pretty clear to us how we wanted to do things from the beginning. So
nice.
Yeah.
I think because it's going to be on Ellicott Street, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
At the corner of Ellicott and Huron.
Nice. I think I was really pumped to hear that it'd be like downtown, like right in the center there. I think that's like a really cool location, and luckily I live not too far from it, so that also I also enjoyed that part. But
that's lucky for both of us.
But no, I was really pumped to see that was downtown like. Your prime objective? Like, did you consider the burbs? Did you consider other areas? Or?
We did. Buffalo is it's it's a small big town or a big small town. I'm not one of those things, but it's pretty much 15 minutes to get anywhere.
Yeah,
and I think we thought that in the beginning that no matter where we put the brewery, we'll probably have people come out and see us and try the beer. But
I think you could even say like woodchuck. Or woodcock. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's kind of
out
in
in
Niagara
Wilson.
County. Yeah,
sure.
But they're it's doing pretty well out there.
Yeah, sure. And I think the same thing would have happened had we done that. But we were trying to stay at least within maybe a 15-20 minute drive to Buffalo, and we did look at some other places, but we wanted to have it
in the city of Buffalo.
Yeah,
and then the location that opened up just happened to be a perfect brewery.
The stars
and it just
aligned.
happened to be downtown.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, this is
we
it.
We fell in love with it.
Yeah. It was pretty quick. We're like, we walked in like, this is a brewery. And so it used to be an old like truck washing facility.
Wow.
For like construction vehicles or I guess
Verizon.
Okay, right. So not construction, like
Verizon fleet maintenance.
Like service vehicles or whatever.
Yeah.
So that meant it had huge water lines, floor drain, high ceilings,
everything.
And we're like, big doors.
It's got the power.
Yep. So we were like,
it was like, wow,
that's a brewery.
Infrastructure's all there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
I mean, I remember watching like the updates from CUNY Beerworks, and they kind of took over the spot and were like putting in drainage lines and having like power installed, and so
And I mean, there's still some work we need to do to our place. It's not like it's. You're
just gonna move in.
Not exactly.
Those really don't exist, but.
Right?
Unless you're buying a brewery that close.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. But but it's pretty close, and with the location being what it was like this is perfect. So we're very happy.
That's awesome.
We'll be downtown.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So with the actual brewery, are you guys planning on doing something similar to Community Beerworks where you're more keg and growler focused, or are you guys actually bottling and stuff like that? Like, what do you see, or at least what are your plans?
Yeah, so out the gate, we plan on being available in kegs exclusively.
Okay.
Maybe somewhere down the road, we'll bottle or...
Yeah, because that's a whole nother beast, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's, not is it only capital intensive, but there's a lot that goes into running a packaging line and keeping it effective, and there's a lot that goes into that. But I mean, we would love to do that eventually.
Yeah.
But we'll have growler fills available, at our location, and
nice. Yeah, because I mean, that's working out, for Community Beerworks pretty well. And
people really want to come down
Yeah.
and see the brewery, and we definitely want people to come down and see our brewery as well.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think that you're gonna maybe put more focus on the aesthetic look of the brewery then, if you're planning on having it be like a destination and things like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're planning on having even more than just like a retail location. I mean, an actual like tasting room.
Nice.
There, so people can come in,
nice,
sit down, try a few of the beers.
That'd be cool.
In addition to getting growler fills, so that that room. It should look pretty nice.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Because I don't think there's really. I know Flying Bison is rumored to be looking at bigger places, so I think maybe they're on that path, but not yet.
Yep.
And same with Community Beerworks. I mean, it's a nice place, but it's not really a hangout and have a couple drinks place. But that'd be pretty cool. That would be that would be very popular. I think.
Yeah. That's what we're hoping.
We hope so.
I mean, I think so. Again, from the feedback and reaction we're getting now, I think it'll be a pretty cool spot.
Have you been in touch? Has it been a pretty open community of all the like breweries and things like that? Like
yes.
Tim Herzog, and I know there's a Hamburg thing going on.
Yep. Tim's been helpful to us. We've met with him a few times. Obviously, we talked about Community Beerworks.
Yeah. And,
there's more breweries in planning or opening seemingly all the time now.
Yeah, it seems like there's quite a list growing.
Yes, not much time goes by without hearing somebody either planning on opening a brewery or potentially might open a brewery. It's hard, there's so many
talking about it, yeah.
And it's exciting. That's great. So it's a very welcoming community.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
I appreciate we've been like accepted into this community, and we're gonna do the same. So I mean, and just some examples of that. Like there was on Friday night, was their Brewed in Buffalo release party for Buffalo Beer Week.
Yeah.
So this was down
at the library.
Oh, the Adam
on Fillmore.
Something long Polish name.
Yes,
that's right.
I was just struggling with whether to mispronounce that or not. Yeah, okay, thanks for covering that. But that was pretty cool because again, it was all, I think every beer on tap was made by a brewery that's in Western New York.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of the brewers all came down and hung out.
That's got to be a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, it was. So that was fun. And then even there's been some organization towards just recently about sort of getting all the brewers together just to
share experiences
and issues.
That's awesome.
And so we took part in that, and Ethan helped to organize that. So that was a pretty cool event too. So yeah, I mean,
I think there's kind of like a parallel going on in a lot of fields in Buffalo. I mean, just I know the restaurant industry, and a lot of chefs are open to talking the chef world with other people. They're not afraid of like hiding their secrets that they have and things like that, or guarding. Everyone's just trying to raise the collective bar.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think we all realize that we all want to grow this together.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a business and there's choices and things like that, but it doesn't need to be combative.
Yeah.
It could be something that we do together. Not separate, and I think that will be mutually beneficial to everybody involved.
Yeah.
So we dig it. It's cool.
Do you think one of the reasons why you felt comfortable opening a brewery is because Buffalo's becoming more interested in craft brewing? Like, I mean, we've seen like Blue Monk open and things like that. Like, have you generally noticed an increase?
Yeah, I mean, I think again when we were first sort of vetting out the idea of opening a business,
that was
plan,
definitely part of our train of thought.
Yeah, we were thinking about stuff like Blue Monk or
Coles.
Yep, and Buffalo Beer Week sort of starting and then growing. Even still, it hasn't been around that long.
No.
So it seemed like when we were first thinking about it was just on the edge of this starting to happen.
Yeah,
and I think over the last year it's happened even faster than we thought. It would.
Right?
Yeah. We thought
that's got to
be
a good feeling.
It's great. It's great.
Just seeing like, wow, lots of people like beer. Good.
Yes, sure. It seems obvious.
It's great
doesn't
to be
it?
a part of it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think people want to try something new.
Yeah. I think buying local has definitely become a bigger role in Buffalo's community. For
Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, with everything, but especially beer, I think.
Absolutely.
Were you guys at the beer fest at First Niagara? Were you there?
Yes,
we were there.
The Brew Fest, Buffalo Brew Fest.
Yeah, the Buffalo Brew Fest. Yeah.
Yep.
That had to be another one of those there's thousands of people right now.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Pretty cool events.
Was that helping you get your name out there again too?
We set our table up at all the events and.
Okay. So you try to get out there as much as.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just to spread the word, and we just did the same thing this past weekend at the Ballpark Brew Bash.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, which is pretty has now been coordinated with Beer Week, which is cool.
Yeah.
And again, a great selection.
They get some really
well
beers
organized festival.
Yeah.
And we have no beer, but we were slammed the whole time for 6 hours. I mean, there were people just want to know what's going on and who we were.
Yeah.
Which again is great. It just helps to sort of prove out that that Buffalo wants more breweries. So
yeah. Make you feel more confident.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the calendar of events for this week that we're in right now, like, it is a very packed week of events. Like,
and the events evolve as the week goes on too, as it seems. So.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. Like, it's only been around maybe this is the third year, or
I think this is the
fourth year even.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's new. I mean, this is a relatively new thing.
Yep, and it's getting bigger and better every year. I mean, last year, I remember, and this is when we were sort of on the outside still a little bit more, but even still we were impressed with the number of events and how many different things there were and the quality of how they were run.
Yeah.
And this year, from everything we've been to and seen, it's even better, which is good.
Do you have a pretty packed week? Like, I mean, I know yesterday and the day before you were pretty busy.
Yeah, so we were somewhere Friday, Saturday... Sunday we took a little bit of a break. Yeah. Well, we actually went to Good Bar for an event. They had like sort of Sunday fun day at Good Bar.
Nice.
And then Monday we took off. Yesterday was Larkin. And tomorrow we might be going to Alternative Brews, and this weekend is the Beer Geek Festival, which is something they're doing at Artisan Kitchen in Bath. We'll be going to that. So yeah, it's a pretty full week. I'd say we're staying busy.
That's awesome.
But man, it's Buffalo Beer Week. This is
what it's all about.
This is the time.
Yeah, this is like your Black Friday, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. If there was such a thing, I guess. You know?
We just don't get to sit on the other side of the bar too much anymore.
Yeah, like at the Ballpark Brew Bash, I'm like, how do we get get around here? Like, or just cover me for 5 minutes, run over here and grab something, you know? So yeah, it's kind of a weird transition moving to the other side of the and it'll be even weirder, I guess, when we start actually serving beer.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that'll be a whole nother experience right there.
It's great. It's great.
So let's I guess timeline wise, like as far as construction goes in the brewery, like when does all that get going? If it already has, I don't know.
No, we haven't started construction yet.
Yeah.
That will be...
Do you have to like wait for things, or you whenever you want?
We're trying to completely finalize the scope.
Okay.
So it's been just a progression of things.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just nail down everything and you know, basically who all the vendors are and exactly what we need to do.
Yeah.
And then basically come in there and just hopefully, if we can, just do it all,
blitz it,
and sort of in one shot. Which you know, that's a lot of times that's the easiest, simplest way to do it. Even though you know that's. Well, I guess it's not simple, but it's not really easy. Okay, just forget that. But it's a good way to go about doing it. So we don't need to basically do a whole bunch of work, and start moving stuff in. Then, oops, we forgot this.
Put
and move
it in the wrong
out.
spot. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like everything else. Like, we're trying to make sure we get the plans completely right. So
that makes sense.
So I mean, that'll happen. I think we're thinking sort of towards the end of this year.
Okay.
And then we're trying to get it open towards the early part of next year.
Nice.
Yep. And of course, it depends upon everything else in line before that. But that's
there's a lot of things that need to happen. But
right. That's our sort of tentative schedule. So
nice.
We'll see how that goes.
It's just kind of crazy, like to have a business where you have to really like figure everything out years before the actual like opening a restaurant is expensive, but like if you have like $10,000, you can run into a place, rent some kitchen equipment, and then go.
Yeah,
like it's
it's not just like, okay, we're selling shirts, and although we are selling shirts, but it's not like we're only selling shirts.
No, not at all.
And like just buy the shirts and sell them. That's it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but
is there like so you mentioned like the beer that we tried, the Golden Ale, that might, like is a potential on your stable of beers, I guess I will say.
Right.
Do you have certain styles that you plan on being? Like, is there a certain type of brewery you'd like to be, or how's that working? Or what do you have planned, I guess?
Well, I mean, the goal is to really have beers that are very drinkable and sessionable.
Yeah.
We'd like you to be able to enjoy multiple ones, not just have one IPA that wrecks your palate or one stout that leaves you so full. But we want all our beers to be full of, obviously, flavor. That's what craft's all about. And we try to be a little innovative and do slight twists on what would normally be considered just a regular style.
Yeah.
So we
stand out.
Yeah, we have another one that we brought with us today too, which is a brown ale.
I would love to
that,
try it.
We put some rye in. So
okay.
You normally see that done with a lot of hoppier beers.
Yeah.
And things like that. So try to like merge some styles or
nice. Yeah.
Pull a different twist. As someone that's really into food, I'm sure you can appreciate that.
Yeah, no. Anytime innovation is going on in the food world, I'm always pumped about it. That's cool. How many roughly do you have now recipes where you feel confident like that you could start serving?
Oh, that's a really tough question, isn't it? How many? We've been working on. I mean, I think we've been working on the numbers probably around 7.
Yeah.
Of things that we'd like to have sort of ready to go when we open, but we won't start with all of them at once because that's just way too many.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll probably start with somewhere between 2 and 4.
Yeah,
and then we'll have seasonals that we'll put out there.
Yeah,
and then we'll have brewery only things. So in terms of the ones like we really feel confident about, we probably have like 5 or 6.
Nice.
Maybe are either in there or just maybe small tweaks. To get them where they need to go.
That's pretty good.
So yeah.
And to answer your question, there's really no styles that will just really be sticking to exclusively.
Okay. Yeah.
I really think over the lifespan of this brewery, we'll probably make every style at least once.
Nice.
Yeah, we'd like to.
Yeah.
I mean, when you open a brewery, well, there's different paths that people take. Right?
Sure.
But we're not aiming to do, let's say, be like the sour brewery or the all imperial brewery.
Yeah.
We'll start with something again, and I don't think you need those things to make a full flavored, really tasty beer,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we'll start with those things, and then the other stuff we'll sort of play with on the side. And as time goes on,
filter it in.
We'll make that a bigger part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the plan. But again, just like Corey said before, it's experimenting. We like playing with this stuff. We like learning about it. So
yeah.
It's interesting, and that's what we'll keep doing.
And we'll hope to use the tasting room as our little group study session. And
yep.
That's a pretty good idea.
See how it goes. Yeah.
Yep. So if people try something and they love it, then next time we make it, we'll make it bigger. That's kind of how it'll go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to try the other one? Before we get going here, I'm very excited about this.
So again, I can talk about that. Well, Corey does his thing. So yeah, as Corey said, this is a rye brown ale. So again, a brown ale is obviously a darker beer, sort of malt based. This is more of, I'd say, an American brown ale, but American brown ales can tend to be sort of hop forward. This isn't that hoppy. It's got a little bit of bitterness to it, but not that hoppy.
It has a nice smell.
Yep, more of a malt forward beer, definitely. And then the addition of the rye actually plays a little trick in contrast versus the malt.
Okay.
So again, gives it a little bit of a different dimension, and it's subtle. Although we have made this beer and it's been too rye, so then it's not that subtle, and it wasn't as good. But this here you go. This lends some subtlety to it. So, again, it winds up being fairly drinkable.
Oh yeah,
but
I'll be honest,
but still full of flavor.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm usually not a brown ale guy. I like this a lot, actually.
Yeah,
and I'm not even saying that because you're here. It's very good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate honesty.
No, I mean, I don't know what it is. Sometimes, like, brown ales just don't, it's not on my flavor spectrum, but this is actually really drinkable. Like you said, just it's got enough of that rye that it's not, like, too hitting me in the face with it, but it's definitely rounding up. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sort of I'd say a pretty wide style as well, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, the main thing that's sort of, drawing all of those together is a little bit sort of more malt forward and sort of the darker color, but this is definitely sort of leaning towards the darker side.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, definitely malty. So I think it's a pretty good example.
When you started figuring out, like, styles that you wanted to try to brew, were you pretty much going to, like, your personal favorite types of beer, or do you even have at this point?
Yeah, I think that's probably how most people that brew start. You drink a beer that you really enjoyed and you want to do that on your own.
Oh yeah,
and then there's things that you think. Like, I dream in beer. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, that'd be like really good with that, or
that's awesome.
And then you go and try it, and if it doesn't work the first time, you think about what you could improve on, or
Has it gotten to that point of obsession where you pretty much are thinking of beer almost all day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least somewhere in the back of your head.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a while. Yeah. But the other thing that I was sorry, was that weird?
No,
it's not weird. It's beer. Let's just say that. The other thing I was going to add was that I think, like, after a while we started thinking about, like, what would we like to drink that we can't find,
Yeah.
And let's go try doing something like that. So this is an example of that again, because rye is sort of interesting grain, but you don't see it normally in a malt forward beer. So a lot of the beers that we, not all of them, but a lot of them we're going to make, I think, are going to be sort of like that. So
it's this is delicious. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
When do the things like names and tap handles and all the fun stuff. Yes. Is that like one of those things that's way down the road, or?
Tap handles, no. Those have a pretty long lead time, actually.
Oh, really?
So we've actually, like we said,
this past Sunday,
yeah,
over
we were at Good Bar
Chicken Wings, we were thinking about tap handles, looking at tap handles, what makes that one cool.
Yeah.
You know,
what do we want?
What do we need to do? So those are all marketing ideas, and we're operation based guys. You know, we know how to do things and make things good and repeatable. So we have a small group of people we sit down with and bang ideas off of.
Yep, and Wes, who's again not here, but he's been a big help there too.
Nice.
It's one of the reasons we sort of joined forces there.
Nice. So you have already started brainstorming that kind of stuff, and
we have a pretty good concept already that we now need to see if it's feasible to actually bring to market. It's nothing too insane, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not like, shining lights or something.
Although that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
LEDs on the
yes,
a little strobe light or something.
Yeah, but
that'd be pretty popular.
Well, maybe I should write that down actually. but yeah, I mean, so we're actively working on it. The names is like, I feel like it's just going to be the hardest thing. I mean, we've been kicking around names for these beers forever.
Years. Yeah.
And we've got a few names, but nothing's stuck yet,
Yeah.
So got good names for beers, people?
Throw them out.
Info at Big Ditch Brewing.
It could make the community all involved in it. And
sure, I think that'd be pretty cool. Actually, I was sort of kidding, but maybe I wasn't. I don't know.
Or maybe for a beer, not for all. Of the
yes,
beer.
right, right. Well, obviously, every beer will have something specific we're going for. But yeah, I mean that'll take a while. I think till we've like solidified the names.
Yeah, I think there's probably more important things.
Well, yes and no. Well,
it's important.
True, good point. I mean,
it's all important.
The name is there for good, pretty much. So yeah.
Yeah, once it's on there, it's on there.
Yeah. Oh, there's some pretty crazy beer names out there. You really can't really go wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I think you can get away with anything at this point.
Yeah. Maybe we should call it that. Get away with anything. I don't know.
Get away with anything IPA.
Yeah.
How did Big Ditch come about? Actually, now that.
Big Ditch is actually a reference to the Erie Canal.
Oh, okay.
So when the Erie Canal was being built,
nice.
It was known as, I think, by just maybe the community of people that were maybe even building it.
Yeah.
Or maybe just, I don't know, by the
there wasn't
press
much
or whatever.
positive press.
It was just known as like, Clinton's Big Ditch. Governor Clinton sort of pushed it through and got this thing done. And they're like, it's just a big ditch. It'll never be open.
That's pretty cool.
It took several years, but became... I think it's the greatest engineering accomplishment of its time.
Yeah.
And obviously a catalyst for Buffalo's growth.
Yeah.
So, inspirational, tied to Buffalo, and, a little catchy,
You know what? I appreciate that it's a Buffalo tie-in that does not involve, like, the word nickel or Buffalo, pretty much. So.
Yeah. I think we thought about that, and we've...
It kind of separates you there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, not everything in Buffalo needs to be associated with the Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
So, that's what we're going for.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I think that kind of pretty much wraps it up. I mean, have you already started, like, talking to restaurants and things like that of where you'd like to see your beer in? Like, do you have, like, pretty much the ideal scenario in your head already figured out for the future and stuff like that, or?
I wouldn't say like the ideal scenario. Nothing right now is exactly ideal. But I mean, yeah, we've talked with, I think, a lot of the folks that own bars and restaurants. We've had a lot of people come to us and ask us questions about it.
Nice.
So I think at opening, it won't be too hard to see us around in quite a few places. That's that's what I'm hoping.
Good.
And we'll see where it goes from there.
Nice. Any immediate things that people should be looking out for coming from you guys, or are you kind of just in the stage where you're waiting for permits and construction and all that?
Well, I mean, I think again this let's see, this coming weekend we'll be at the Buffalo Beer Geek Festival.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, I think we're sort of getting to the point where we're probably going to lock it down.
You just need to crank down
and try to make sure we get things done. But there's always things happening, so I'm sure we'll be out there.
Nice. And your estimated goal, like not putting a hard date on it, but early next year-ish.
Early next year-ish.
Yeah, hopefully springtime-ish.
That's good.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
We could shoot for that. Maybe playoffs.
Yeah,
playoffs.
It's time for playoffs.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's hopeful on 2 levels there.
Right.
That's right. That's right. We're linking 2 things together to one magical moment.
Awesome,
That's
guys.
okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming down.
Yeah,
here.
thank you for having us. It's been
this
great.
beer is delicious. I'm not even lying to say that to your face. This is really good. I don't even like brown ale that much, and I really like this beer.
Good.
And I can't wait till you guys open up. And good, best of luck with that whole process. So
yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah,
we appreciate it and we need it.
thanks again, guys.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.